Boy, I love browsing Reddit. Ooh, what is this? Anti-work. Ooh, I wonder where that leads. Portal? Let's see what's on the other side. Ew! How did I get here from Reddit? Ew! You know what they say, you gotta be careful where you thread in the Reddit neighborhood. 1 second you're browsing wholesome memes, the next second you're reading a communist manifesto. Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hello, I'm Dr. Gibberish and you can subscribe today to become my friend. You can even crash on the sofa, just not literally, or I'm gonna call the police. Today I'm gonna tell you a beautiful tale about thin line between wholesome content and a full-blown communist propaganda. So next time Morpheus asks you which pill you want to take, boy, make sure to stock up on the blue ones, cause it's getting red out here. So I was browsing through Reddit the other day, and I stumbled upon this peculiar community called Anti-Work. Quite interesting, and at first I thought, that's probably people who live off social benefits and stuff. It's mildly popular in the UK, but it turns out it's actually full of seemingly wholesome content, stories of people standing up against their abusive managers, people quitting their jobs in spectacular style, like this guy. Where are you at? You told Mark you could work night shift tonight. No, I did not. I told Mark I couldn't work Monday. You told him you couldn't work in the mornings, but you could work normal hours. As you know, I found out yesterday my dad passed away. I'm gonna go ahead and at least take the one day I get a week off to mourn his death. That doesn't make sense. I am so sorry for any inconvenience this will cause you. My uncle died a few years ago. I lost my grandma. Stop being a victim. Mail me my check. I quit. Go fluff yourself. So right off the bat, it might just seem like an innocent motivator for working class, giving them hope that one day they'll be able to stand up against this oppressive employer of theirs. But the real fun starts when you go into the About section of the subreddit and you go into the frequently asked questions. They are still quite mild in their approach here, but don't let it fool you, because this is where the rabbit hole starts. When you go lower to more questions answered by the community, the first answer is, what's the alternative? What is the solution to work? So you go into a topic linked there, and it goes into detail about how oppressive capitalism is and how working class is underappreciated. The problem isn't you, it's work. The problem is the system. What is the alternative? The alternative to work is an abolition. That's like the first hard red pill, quite literally, that we'll have to swallow whilst traversing through this content you can organize, which encourages people to go sign up for a union, which is a great idea. I'm in a union myself, and I can tell that stuff can save your ass. But it's the next paragraph that really caught my attention. You can slack off, cheat, sabotage and steal from work. But it does not end here. Is that fish I can hear? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going deep. Another link takes us to an article, Work Like a Cat, Why You Should Slack Off at Work. Honestly, this article changed my life. Before reading it, I never thought about drinking bleach. Now it's real plans. Here is why you should slack off at work. There is a communist Garfield just chilling. Can you imagine having pets and you come home from work one day and they're just chilling with Che Guevara on their chest? But without further clowning around, let's give this article a chance. Let's see what can we learn. Humans may hold cats as prisoners for life, but they manage to get their fair share and maybe more from the bargain. Rather than suffering from their captivity, cats exploit their situation and manage to leverage food, shelter, catnip, and all the other creature comforts of life from the deal. Do you see where this is going? The sabo-tabby leftists can learn a lot from this furry. I love learning from furries, like Oh, my camera decided it doesn't want to record anymore. I know how you feel, camera. But the article does not end here, it goes deeper. As I've explained in a previous entry, your boss is a thief. For every hour you work, your value of your labor is being stolen from you. This is why we, the exploited workers of the world, must do everything we can to balance the scales and seize back the value of our labor from these capitalist thieves. And you can see a very clever pattern here. The article goes from like wholesome, actual useful advice into like a little bit of propaganda, then it dips back into like useful-ish things and deeper into propaganda. Like now they have dropped this whole capitalist thieves bomb on us and they go back into actual useful advice. They tell you you should always leave the office on time, work is a never-ending process, it can never be completed. Generally kind of weirdly phrased, but still somewhat useful advice on, you know, managing your family time and friends time and not putting work over your private life. But this is where it drops again. Workers in developing countries who are victims of capitalist imperialism. Where did you hear these two words together last time? In like communist jokes, right? This is communist jokes in real life, guys. If you belong to one of these categories, and chances are very high that you do, it's time to start your campaign of workplace slacking and sabotage. First, some words of warning. Wait, I'm gonna do it like they do it on the medication prescriptions. First, some words of warning. Take the following advice at your own risk. There is always a chance that doing what I'm proposing will get you fired. Plan an emergency savings so you can start over if things go south. Contact your local pharmacy. Oh, and this is where you first stumble upon an actual propaganda poster. Like, look at this. Behold, the archetypal hero of the proletariat. Who's using these words in 21st century apart from communist manifestos? It's bizarre. It's bonkers, my dudes. I'm gonna do the rest of it in my Russian comrade accent. So yes, there are risks, but there are also substantial potential gains to be made from being a slacker saboteur. Are you ready to start loafing around for noble cause of liberating the proletariat? The first step is to take the workplace partisans pledge. This is where it really gets bonkers. Listen to that. Until the last capitalist has been overthrown and the means of productions have been seized by we, the exploited workers of the world, I pledge to support my fellow workers and to fight capitalism at every opportunity to decrease the value of stolen labor value of my capitalist oppressors and to make my first priority to the happiness and well-being of myself and the fellow workers to the detriment of management of company profits and management demands. I'm not even making this shit up. This is literally what it says here. Take a deep breath, comrade. Now you're a full-fledged member of the slacker resistance. And tell me, what does this look like to you? Cause if you ask me, that looks kind of like communist propaganda posters from the 60s. And my dudes, even though I don't tend to slam dunk on liberal or leftist approaches, the list below is precisely reasons why communism doesn't work in the world. Here are some of the commandments that every one of us must strictly observe. 1. Never make any kind of negative report about fellow worker unless the worker's actions are actively threatening the safety and well-being of yourself and or another worker. Never go the extra mile or put in extra hours without demanding fair compensation. Always make it appear that you are going extra mile, especially when you're not. Never participate in mandatory fun like company picnics, softball leagues, etc., especially on your own time, unless you would genuinely enjoy the activity. Capitalistic darts? Capitalistic bowling? Ooh, capitalistic snooker? Oh boy, where do I sign up? If customers are working class, treat them with dignity and respect, and put their needs before the needs of the company. Give them good service, help them find discounts or good deals, and simply be honest with them if they're getting a bad deal. If customers, however, are of the capitalist class, never go out of your way to serve them. They may see you as a mere servant, but you must never see yourself that way. If you make commissions on sales, then squeeze as much as you can from them. And number 10, which frankly just cracked me up. Always steal office supplies. Like, all these previous entries were like paragraphs and pompous language, and the 10th is just steal office supplies. Can you imagine someone like going to the office and like angrily stealing pens and, you know, stealing everything, hiding everything, whatever they can, like, oh yeah, I'm contributing to abolishing the capitalism. Woohoo! And just a reminder, mere 10 minutes before we have served our communist pledge and started reading about abolishing these capitalist oppressors, we were on a wholesome subreddit. This video is not meant to bash anyone with communist views or liberal views. This is simply meant to show how easy it is to fall down a rabbit hole, to show how easy it is to fall victim to clever manipulation tactics, spilling some good facts and then dipping into propaganda and then giving you some more facts that you will agree with. This is how all extreme environments, left, right, cults, this is how all of them get their followers. They give them something, universal truths, if you will, that everyone agrees with, and then they intertwine some of their own agenda, and then they go back into something you agree with. So you have this like two hilltops that you agree with like a valley of propaganda in between that you're sort of glancing over because you agree with the two other things. This is what I want you guys to always be wary of. See through the manipulation, no matter where it comes from. It doesn't have to be communist, it could be far right. And it doesn't have to be far right, it could be some cult or a pyramid scheme. Once you start seeing the pattern of someone rubbing in some facts and then going into weird propaganda stuff and then going back into facts, be sure this is a manipulation. Always filter your information and try to spot a rabbit hole before you go down with it. This was just an example to show you how scarily easy it is to swerve off a theoretically safe and moderated community like Reddit into some really weird bonkers communist propaganda manifesto, because that's what it was. There was a literal communist pledge in there, and that was 10 minutes away from Reddit. If Reddit was a motorway, there would be like a road sign, Communist Manifesto, 10 miles to the right. With that being said, I will leave this here and perhaps give you something to think about. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support me and what I'm doing here, make sure to share my video on social media or send it to your friends, because this is the best way to support a small YouTuber, to help me grow my audience. Once again, remember to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video, and I will see you next time. Cheerio!